All right, so the next thing that we want to layer in is going to be Checkstyle. We did this in IntelliJ before. Now we're going to do it in Eclipse. So again, we're going to start by going up to Help and Eclipse Marketplace. We're going to search for Checkstyle. And it's going to come back with a few different things. I'm going to go with the Checkstyle plugin 8.0.0 here, which there may be a different version by the time you're watching this. This is the most downloaded one, and it'll have all the checks that we want to have there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the install, and it's going to ask me about license terms, install anyway, and then I'm going to restart. The dude is gradually getting happier with our code quality. I assure you that. Might not look like it, but it's also a little early at the moment, so he hasn't had his White Russian yet. All right, so we're back up and running here. Now there's a couple of things that I need to do on Checkstyle to get it up and running. I'm going to go up to Project and Properties, and I'm going to go to Checkstyle. When you first install that, you may have Google checks in there. And that's okay if that's what you want to use. I'm going to use Sun checks like we did with IntelliJ, so I'm switching over to that. I'm going to go up to Window, and I'm going to show View, and I'm going to select Checkstyle Violations. I'm also going to go ahead and open something. I'll show you what this particular plugin in Eclipse does. There's a violations chart that'll actually show you the breakdown of which rules your code is violating, which is kind of cool. I don't know that it's particularly useful, but it's kind of cool. I'm going to right-click on my project, go to Checkstyle, and activate Checkstyle. And then just to get it going, we'll go ahead and do check code. All right, so now we see all of our violations here. And these are really framed in terms of the rule that's being violated. So like missing Java doc comment. You can navigate with your navigation buttons up here in the top right of the tab. You can also look at this on the Problems tab. So you're going to see all these errors that will come up. So then we can start to clean these things up. So let's start with the curly braces. Checkstyle wants you to have curly braces in all the right places. Yes, that rhymes. I'm sorry. So we're going to clean that up. All right, we'll go clean this one up here, up too. We know that at some point we're going to remove that code, but that's okay. We'll clean it up for now. This one's saying, hey, we've got tab characters right up here. So, and it also says we have trailing spaces. So this was probably what I did was I copied the code over into Notepad++. And at some point I added a couple of these lines. Notepad++ was putting tabs in there when I used the tab key. So if I do that, it should take care of my trailing spaces. Yep, so I should be okay. Let me see if I have any more. All right, I should be okay there. Now it's telling me I'm missing a Java doc comment up here. So I'm going to add my Java docs. And so that'll take care of that. I need one for this main method here. All right, that'll take care of that. It's expecting that I'm going to have a param args. All right, takes care of that. It's telling me my line down here is longer than 80 characters. It's 85 characters long. Doesn't like that. I'm going to ignore that one because they don't really care. Now, I don't want a line that's 300 characters long, but the difference between 80 and 85, am I going to lose anything over that? Probably not. It's telling me I'm missing a package info Java file. And in my IntelliJ workspace, I had already created that, which is why if you watch the IntelliJ on Checkstyle, the course on that or the lesson on that, you didn't see this come up because I'd already done it. And then my variable must match this naming pattern, which would be a camel casing, right? So I'm going to do a Alt-Shift-R to refactor it. I'm going to say my variable and hit enter, and it should take care of all of the instances of that for me. So that's refactored. And then 3, 4, 5, it's calling these magic numbers. In the IntelliJ version of the Checkstyle lesson, we talked about this a little bit, that -1, 0, 1, and 2, it's not going to complain about those things. So if I just change this to 1, that's going to go away, right? But 3, 4, 5, it's seeing these as constants. And so it's saying you really should define a constant somewhere within your project in order to do these comparisons. So if in my system I have error codes that get logged somewhere for review or to give a user a message, this is error 1023. I want to define that as a constant within my project as opposed to embedding it somewhere, because if error 1023 ever changes to error 2135, then I'm going to have to find all the instances throughout my whole thing of 1023. And it's just bad form. It's going to create a lot of work for you. For the purposes of this, I'm not going to mess with this one. I'm just going to leave it as it is because, it's my lesson and I can decide to do that. It's my code. I can decide to do that. And there are some other things in here, in terms of utility classes. I'm just going to ignore those. Line being longer than 80 characters, I'm going to ignore those. Again, you don't necessarily have to have 100% of these things cleared. You just need to understand what's in there and be okay with leaving them in. It's your prerogative what you want your development team to fix or what you are not concerned with. Ideally, everything's going to be perfectly clean, but you can't always do that. So that's okay to leave those things if you need to. So that covers Checkstyle. Again, it's pretty simple. It works a lot like the IntelliJ. Let's take a look at the Checkstyle violations chart here. Just real quick, this shows you where your violations are, what kind of issues are popping up. You can see our magic number is the most concerning. It accounts for 38% of the violations. So that's Checkstyle, and next up is going to be SonarLint.